So it definitely, it was just in that moment, I didn't know what to do. I had to let it sink in, like, wow, like I'm really pregnant. Like there's a baby inside of me right now. So I took the test around, I would say early afternoon. So later that day, you know, me and my mom is really close, so I tell her everything. So she's in her room, just on the bed watching TV, like la 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 la, just relaxing. So I'll go in her room and I'm like, Mom, I really need to talk to you about something. Like it's really, really important. And she like paused the TV. She was watching something on that little DVR stuff. So she paused the TV, and I'm like, we need to talk. Like close the door talk. So she like, wow, what's wrong? Everything okay? Are you good? Like, what's going on? You know, cause she concerned. Like, I didn't even say anything, y'all. I just set the pregnancy test on her bed. Like, I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even say the words, hey, mom, I'm pregnant. Ha ha ha. I couldn't even say it. It was just more like, oh, here you go. When I mean, when she looked at these tests, her whole facial expression was like, I could tell that her heart dropped too. Like she was just looking, it was just bad. It was all just bad that night. So she looked at the pregnancy test and she looked at me and was like, Takara, are you trying to tell me that you're pregnant? I'm like, I don't even know if I said yeah. I don't know if I nodded my head. I don't even remember. I just looked at her and I remember her just crying. Like, it was horrible. Like, just seeing your mom cry because of something that you did, that is a horrible, horrible feeling. So she's like crying, crying. So at this time, I'm just standing there with the dumb face on, like I really just made my mom cry. Like I really just disappointed her. So I like left the room and I just remember that whole night it was it wasn't good. I just stayed in my room. I pretty much like cried and she didn't even talk to me the rest of the night. It was just bad. And by this time, me and my boyfriend, we weren't on the best terms. Like we had a little stupid argument about a week before I found out I was pregnant. So he was still being mad about that. So I tried calling him the next morning. He wasn't answering. So then I like sent him a text. I'm like, I'm pregnant. And as soon as I sent him that text, he like called me like, I'm coming over. I'm like, okay. So he comes over the house and I still had the pregnancy test because I mean it was still saying pregnant because it was only 24 hours later. So I showed him the pregnancy test and he's staring at it like, what you mean you pregnant? I'm like, I'm pregnant. I mean, what am I supposed to say? So he was not happy. He was not happy. I was upset. My mom is still upset. It was just the whole thing was just bad. So let's fast forward a little bit. So by this time, my mom is like, okay, you pregnant, so what you want to do? Like, are you want to keep the baby? Do you want to get an abortion? And at this point in my life, I'm like, I don't want to get an abortion, but can I really afford a baby at 16? Didn't even finish high school, still living at home, no money. All these thoughts just start running in my head. I'm like, Mom, I don't know. That's what I told her. I said, I don't know. She's like, well, you need to figure it out soon because you need prenatal care, you need to take vitamins, you need to start taking care of yourself because now you're pregnant and we need to figure something out. So I'm like, you know, maybe I should just get rid of it. Like, I mean, I don't want to be a young mom struggling and it's going to be hard. So I think like a couple weeks later, not a couple weeks, probably a week or two later, I actually scheduled to have an abortion. So I scheduled it, and I remember, so it's like a two-step process. So first they have to do like an ultrasound, pretty much just like a physical ultrasound. You find out how many weeks you are, things like that. So I went to that appointment first, and then I had the second appointment to schedule the ultrasound. No, the abortion. So me and my boyfriend, we went to the appointment or whatever, and my mom didn't go with me because she just had foot surgery, so she couldn't come. So it was just me and him. So I remember I went into the room. The lady, she asked me my name, you know, confirmation, stuff like that. And I laid on the table, and she asked me before she did the ultrasound, like, do you want to see the screen? And I'm like, no. Like, who wants to see their baby knowing that they might get an abortion or get rid of their child? I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. So she's like, oh, okay. So the ultrasound lasted about, I would say 10 to 15 minutes. So after the ultrasound, I scheduled my appointment to get the abortion done. So they would do the abortion probably like a week apart from the ultrasound appointment. So that whole time, just like, damn, like, I'm really about to get rid of my baby. I really don't want to, but maybe it's the best decision. It was just a lot of thoughts still going in my mind right now. And my boyfriend, he was in a whole nother world. His brain was just like, wow, she's pregnant. Like, it was just a lot. His family wasn't happy. My family wasn't happy. Like, no one was happy. This is not a happy moment. Like, you're 16. He was 18. He was still in high school. He was a senior. Like, it was just a mess. So I remember the date came up to get my abortion. It was scheduled. So me and my boyfriend, you know, we went down there again to pretty much just get the abortion done. And I remember walking in there, and my heart was just like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And I looked at him, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. And the lady, she was like giving me papers, pretty much just to sign, to read, you know, pretty much that signature insurance stuff. So I'm just like, I can't do this. No. So I walked out. I like left. And my boyfriend was still sitting there, and I left. And he like followed me, like, what's going on? I said, I can't do this. Like, by this time, I'm crying, I'm bawling, I'm upset. I was just like, my heart is telling me I cannot get rid of my baby. Like, no. So we went home, we got back in the car. I'm just upset. I'm over the day. So I go back home. He drops me off because at that time we were not living together. I mean, we're teenagers, so he drops me off back at home, and I go to my mom's room, and I'm just crying. Like, Mom, I can't do it. I was like, I thought about it, and I want to keep it. I want to do it. And she was just like, are you sure? Like, whatever you want to do, I support you. She was like, you feel like it's not right. You feel in your heart you don't want to get an abortion. You don't have to get an abortion. Like, I support whatever you want to do. So I'm like, I want to keep it. So after I said that, that's when the pregnancy journey started. So I made my first prenatal appointment. I started taking like the little gummies and stuff like that, the gummy vitamins, before my actual prenatal appointment. So after I started taking my vitamins, had my first prenatal appointment, then came the morning sickness. So my daughter pregnancy was worse, but with my son, I was sick until I was 12 weeks pregnant, and it was bad. Throwing up every day, feeling nauseous, can barely eat, no appetite. It was just a lot. And you gotta think, guys, I was still in high school, so I still had to get up in the morning, walk to school, try to finish classes. I was missing a lot of school, like to the point where truancy. I was missing a lot of school because I was just so sick. I could not finish the whole day. When I used to wake up in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, throwing up all day. All day. My pregnancy was like that until I was 12 weeks pregnant. So it was really tough. So at that time, I spoke to my mom about it. She seen I was missing a lot of days, and that's when I started doing homeschooling. So I did homeschooling all the way in my pregnancy. It was okay. I mean, it was different because I didn't see anyone. You pretty much learn on the laptop by yourself. So it was like I pretty much stayed in my room, did my homework, but I was so determined to finish school. Like, I did not want to be one of those teen mothers where like, oh, she got pregnant, she dropped out of school. Okay, another statistic. No. So I did homeschooling until pretty much the rest of my pregnancy. I was homeschooled. And then I had Aiden October of 2012, 3 days before my 17th birthday. And when I mean, I was so happy. Like, it was amazing. Like, being a mother it is the best feeling ever. So I was just so happy that the pregnancy was over. It was done. But I mean, it definitely was hard because a lot of people, they judged me. I lost a lot of people that I used to talk to. Family used to judge me. I mean, it was just a lot. And when you're pregnant, you just have to brush that off of you. Like, it's bad enough that you're young, pregnant, and people think you're going to drop out of high school just because you're about to have a baby. So when I mean I bust my ass, pregnant, sick and all, to finish high school, I bust my ass. And I finished with honors because I didn't want to be that statistic. So Aiden came October 2012. So happy. It was like amazing. My mom was happy. Everyone just happy, loving him up. He's the first grandchild, the first nephew. So Aiden gets very, very spoiled. So let's fast forward a little bit. Me and my kid's father, well, at that time he was just Aiden's dad, so we were still together, things like that. Our relationship, I mean, it had its ups and downs, but what relationship doesn't? So he graduated in 2012 and I graduated 2014. So when I was 18 years old, I graduated high school, and that's when I got my very first job at Wawa. So I worked at Wawa as a cashier. I used to be in the back making the hoagies, the coffee. I was like so excited, like, wow, my first job, I get money. Because at that time, my mom was helping me take care of my son, like buying diapers, clothes, wipes. You know, I didn't have no job, so my mom was definitely helping. And his dad was working too because he's older than me, so he had a job. So, you know, I didn't have no money. So I started working at Wawa, I think 2014. So I started working there in 2014. And at first I loved it. Like, it was awesome. I'm like, I love having my own money, blah, blah, blah. So as time went on, the daycare payments start coming and I'm like, whoa, I can't do this. I can't. So it was definitely hard because you're paying almost $400 in childcare, and you still trying to take care of your child, and that's no real money. And I wasn't working full time. I was there like part time, working like 20, 25 hours a week. By the time I would get paid, guys, I would literally have 20 bucks, if lucky, in my pocket. 20 bucks. And it had to last me all week because my whole check just went to daycare. Because my mom, she couldn't watch him at that time for me. So, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Just sit home all day? So, I was working at Wawa for a year and a half before I just got tired of it. I'm like, I can't do this. I have a child. I need more money. It was just too much. It was way too much. So, on top of having a child, trying to have money, trying to still have a good relationship with your partner. Like, it was just a lot going on in my life at that time. So I started doing like this little training program. I did that for about 10 months to 12 months. And that's when I got a new job. So I was working at Wawa for a year and a half. After I finished my little training course, that was like 10 months, 10 to 12 months. So I finished that, and then I started working somewhere else as a receptionist, making great money, way better money, so to where I can save, pay for his daycare. So like I was really feeling good about myself, you know, like wow, I got money in my pocket. I could save up for a car, like I could save up to move out, things like that. So I started working there part-time first, part-time hours, and then I went to full-time. So my work aspect, that was going good, things like that. So now my relationship is pretty much going downhill. We just wasn't getting along at that time, and you gotta think, when you're young and you've been with someone so long, you start wanting something else, pretty much. So it's like, it was just a lot going on at that time between us. So we eventually separated, because we were just not seeing eye to eye at that time. It was just a lot of arguments, a lot of petty stuff. And when we separated, I pretty much became like a single mother by myself. So that was even harder. Like, it was bad. It was hard. Because now I have Aiden by myself. Me and his dad, we aren't together anymore. So now I just have my mom and sister who has to watch him while I'm going to work or helping me. Like, it was just really bad because we were just not seeing eye to eye. We had to go to court, custody. It was really bad. So by this time, I'm like pretty much stressed, because I'm trying not to let that stress me out, on top of being a single mother, on top of trying to build your own life. And I was only 20 at this time, 20, 21. So like, still young guys going through all of this mess. So it was tough. It was a tough time in my life. So let's fast forward a little bit. So we were separated, me and my kid's father, we were separated for 2 years. I thought I would never get back with him. He thought he would never get back with me. Like, our relationship, like, we've been through something. I mean, he was with somebody else. I was with somebody else. I was in another relationship for almost a year. He was in another relationship for a year. So it's like, during that time, we were separated. We was doing our own thing. I was living life. He was living life. But just about a year ago, it was like the love was still there, but it was kind of hard for us to communicate, to really express ourselves, because you gotta think, when you're young, you don't know how to express your feelings. You don't really know how to talk. All you know is wham, 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 arguing. So about a year ago, we actually started communicating again. We were just trying to co-parent at first. Like, yeah, we're going to co-parent, be better parents towards Aiden. And one day, he just told me, like, I'm still in love with you. And I told him, like, the same thing. So it was like we were starting from scratch. We would go out on little dates. It's like we were starting fresh, a new beginning, we would call it. So when we got back together, things were great. Things were awesome. By this time, I had saved up enough money to move out on my own. I actually moved out when I was 21 years old. Now I'm 22, so I've been living on my own for a while. So I already have my own place, things like that. So, I mean, yeah, our relationship was like starting a new chapter. So fast forward a little bit, we was back together, I would say around 3 to 4 months, and then I got pregnant with Ari, well, Aria. She's 3 months now. So when I got pregnant with her, that was August of 2017. So I got pregnant with her. He moved in with me. So yeah, we just been being a family ever since. And I just had Aria in April of 2018, and she's our newest addition to the family. So I just want to say, guys, that no matter what you go through, if you work hard, if you're dedicated, if you're motivated, you can do anything you want to do. Like being a teen mother at 16, no money, no job. It was a time in life where I just felt lost. I'm like, I can't work at Wawa for the rest of my life, number one. Number two, it's not just me anymore. I have this little person who didn't even ask to be here to fend for. Like, so that's my story. Um, and that's pretty much it. So right now things are really good in my life. Aria is growing up so quick. She's such a bundle of joy. That's pretty much it, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, guys, that you can do anything that you want to do. Just work your ass off and you will get where you need to go, girl, because that's what I did. And that's it for my story time, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.